All right, we are in the 2022. What am I thinking? 2022 Winter Major, and we are going to be doing this at Nordic Fjords. I was going to play this weekend and shoot a scouting report, but I wanted to go through and play the hole, so I'll run a practice round today, and I'll just make sure I don't qualify. So hole number one. Now, here's the deal. This is our zone as far as, like, if I can grab my pen. Maybe. Damn it. My pen got put up in the corner. I can't get it. There we go. There we go. Got my pen. All right. So this is our landing zone right here. And we want to be going directly towards the cup. The whole goal here is to be either right off the green or on the green in one, so that we're making a putt for eagle. So this is going to be our direction. This out here is all spectators. I have seen people hit out in here so they have this shot, but if you can get on, we got to go for it. And we have to. There's just way too many people that are going to get eagle on this both times because they're going for the hole that you have a much higher likelihood of making a putt than you do from the shot that's out here. And this is not an easy shot with where the placement of the pin's at. You have very little room here, and it's on a slope. So we definitely want to try and get on in one. Now, this is really wind dependent. So we've got a tailwind here. We can probably use a par 3 ball, but if we've got any headwind here, we're going to have to up our ball up. So we're going to have to be prepared to bring out whatever ball is necessary with the wind. So if you don't have any par 4, par 5 balls, you may be at a disadvantage, because I don't even know if we've got a really good headwind whether we can make it over. Now, ideally, we want to bring out the club that hits the farthest. So depending on the level of your APOC, if your APOC hits raw distance farther, we only need to use about, let's see if I can find my scratch notes. Somewhere here there's some notes, I think. Where did I put them? 5th anniversary winter major, first hole, somewhere between 4 and 5 topspin. So we don't need anything more than the APOC 6. That's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to start off with a Titan, and we'll see where we go from there. Winter major, hole number 1. Let's see if we can go out there and put the plan into action. We'll see. The whole goal is to try and do this without doing a bunch of overpower. Number 1, we're going to be able to get more consistent results. And number 2, we have, anytime you're using overpower, you always take that risk of not catching it perfect, and it could be really bad on a hole like this. Really bad. I go first. Let's see what kind of wind we got. Okay, we got plenty of distance out there, so I can get over. So I may be able to use a power 3 ball all the way through. I'm going to put on 5 topspin. I really want to be thinking about where that second bounce is. I'd like that second bounce to come in right here, but I don't want to start off right here because I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm going to leave the wind in 2.6. It's about a ring and a quarter. I'm going to put the forward moving wind back in. No overpower, and just try and bring it around to the cup. Hit a 1 ring grate on the inside, 1 ring grate to the right, which is problematic on the second bounce if I put too much curl on it. Very nice. To get your speed just a little bit better than I had mine, if I didn't have so much, it would have actually dropped off onto the green, and once it hits the green, it'll roll towards the cup. but I don't mind being on the fringe. See if my opponent can get the same results. I think they're going to do max overpower. Maybe. Now it really comes down to top spin. Whether they got their top spin right. It looks like it's fast. And they got lucky. Woo! That'll work. That dog will hunt. Alright, let's get the eagle on hole number 1 just so we can say we did. Hit one ring great to the right. Hitting the flagpole. Wind was a little bit of a factor. See if my opponent can get in. So getting the eagle on hole number 1, we just have to do this. I mean, I don't like to say gimmies because it's still tough and we still have to get it all right, but it's definitely a big goal is getting the eagle on hole number 1. And the other two par 4s are also very eagleable. One of them is a great opportunity for hole in 1. It's a tough par 4 and it's all about ball. So if we have any, I mean, you have to have the right ball based off the wind in order to go for the hole in 1, but we have some serious opportunities in this tournament and this one is definitely one of them. Hole number 2. Let's see what we got for hole number 2. Hole number 2. These par 3s, I find that there's 2 of the par 3s in this game that are, for me, are pretty low percentage. There are better ways to go at them. And this hole right here is a hole that I haven't decided how I'm going to play it. There's a lot of different ways that you can play this hole. You can try and get up so that you're up in this area, starting off more on the green and trying to go right at the cup. And you can do this with a guardian or a sniper. There is a rough bump that you can do from over here and then bring the ball back around. It's a fairly narrow rough bump in this area. I've hit more hole-in-ones just going straight at the hole than I did when I played the rough bump for a couple tournaments a couple years ago, and I didn't have a lot of success with the shot, but I know a lot of people do the rough bump. Most people are going to come out at somewhere in this zone and try and run it up towards the cup. Now, the way that the cup works down here is that it kind of rolls down and then you've got the cup is like in this area. So you can end up blowing past the cup. The speed down at the cup is pretty critical. So let's just go out there and see. And I have no numbers or anything. I'm just gonna start from scratch and play this hole from some spot. Let me see. I'm gonna bring a sniper. I think I can bring a nav. I don't think I need a lot of spin. And I'm just going to go find a spot out there. I know that we do some kind of an adjustment. We do like a 10% adjustment on this. It is way in the hell downhill. I actually think that we were doing max club, even though we may not be at max club, we were doing max club plus 10%, I think is probably a good place to start. So there's min, and there's max. So I'm at about mid club. I'm going to see how fast that goes past the cup. I didn't put any spin at all, so that'd be 3.6. There's 3, 5, 3, 6. Oh, and I hit it one ring great to the right. Not going to get any read from that. I will know speed, though, as far as going to the cup. I do like that speed. A lot. So this week, I'm going to take my shot from out in the clear like that. And I'm going to be at mid-club. But I'm going to use a max number plus 10%. If I did the mid number plus 10%, then that's basically a max number. And I know in one-on-one, I usually have to add a little bit on here. We'll try it out. We'll work on this. This is going to be, all of these par 3s really are, I'm going to have to work on all week. Of the par 3s, I've had more success on this one than the other two. But I think all of the par 3s here, this one being the easiest, the other two are pretty tough. We'll see. All right, what do we got for hole number 3? Hole number 3 is a big old par 5. Let's see if my opponent can get in. Maybe. In the hole. Tumbleweeds. Those are pretty substantial tumbleweeds there. All right, let's go check out hole number 3. Hole number 3, what is hole number 3? Hole number 3 is this par 5 right here. And where I want to go is off into this area. Now, when we're playing this hole, once again, this out here is all for spectators. Nobody hits out here. I have seen, the last time we played this hole, people were going from this area here, if you brought out a big enough ball, and trying to bridge the gap and end up over here so that you had this shot to the cup. I tried this shot several times, and I did end up in the fairway maybe 30% of the time. It's difficult because you're at the end of your run. And what I found myself was in the rough right here, and I would rather take the shot from out here. Pretty safe shot to get out here. This was a pretty dangerous shot to get out here, and then, 67% of the time I was ending up in the rough for my second shot as opposed to having a nice clear one. So I'm going to take this shot from over here, but you can try and bounce over. You can hit out here, but arc-wise, if you've got a lower developed ball, you're going to need a big wood from out here. So like if we draw our arc for club, this distance would be the same as this distance. So if we've got our arc here and we're landing out in this zone, we're farther out here. So here with a lower power ball, we need a big ass club. And even with a bigger ball, we still, it's not a bad thing. You can get your sniper over here if you've got a power 3 ball. So if you've got a cat or a big dog, you're definitely going to be in the zone. But from out here, you're going to be struggling to get around this bend through these two sand traps. So I'm not really going to ever demo this shot from out here because it's not, I don't think it's, why would you make yourself farther from the hole when you've got a great shot over here? Now the shot over here, you can take an extra mile, an APOC, or a maxed out rock, and you can actually start off on this side with a Kingmaker and try and get yourself up to the front. It's very tricky to get up to the front because this green has a ridge, and this picture doesn't accurately represent, but there's a ridge in here, and everything on this side of the ridge falls down, and everything on this side of the ridge falls down. And so when you tail off, your ball guide's going like this, you're going to tail off and it's going to try and suck you down. Or if you hit a great to the right, you're going to stay on this side and it's going to try and bring you down. So it's very easy at the end of your run, if you're trying to get all the way to the tip, to find yourself bleeding off into the rough because the ball is just following the contour. A lot of people are going to be in the middle, and this is a big fail area right here. If you're down in this area and you fail, You can, if you've got a Nirvana and you bring out a big enough ball, and you need to bring a big ball. Even if you think you can get out here with a katana and do this stuff with a katana, it helps you to bring out a bigger ball and if this first shot doesn't work out. Because if you're up in this area, you can get your first bounce with a Nirvana on this. You may not be able to get all the way to the cup, but what can happen is you can get your first bounce here, and you can get your second bounce here, and you can end up out in this area with a short little chip to recover. This island, if you're using this island, looks like this from the profile. And so it's one of those things where you really want to be close to the front so that the more distance you can get in the front, then the more distance you'll have on the other side. But what happens is you're hitting from over here when you're in the front, and it takes a flat bounce, and it will barely get over. So you actually have to pull it back to the top so that it gets a regular bounce, and you lose some distance because of it. It's a really frustrating area to try and hit through because you push it forward to get more distance, and you will actually net less because of the height of the bounce. So when you're taking the shot off the island, you got to watch yourself. And while our tendency is to want to push it forward so that we can get as much distance, in order to get more distance forward, you actually have to pull it back so that your ball is resting on the crown. Okay? All right, let's go check it out. Let's go play it. I'm going to take my number 2 bag and a Titan, the king of balls. Now, if there's any headwind here, it'll be problematic. I may have to bring a power 4 ball. Let's pick my bag. Bag number 2 and a Titan. If there's headwind, I may have to use a little bit of overpower, or I may have to switch to a Kingmaker. This wind will work. And it takes very little spin. I can't remember how much it takes, but it takes very little. It might actually take a little bit of backspin. Maybe. It's been a long time since I played this, so I'm trying to remember. Whenever we played in a tournament last, it's probably the last time I played this hole. But you can see where my opponent's at right here with a 1 power ball. If they had a bigger power ball, they could get out more towards the tip, and they could try and bridge that gap. And with this wind, that wind will definitely help them. If you can get over into the clear on the other side, you actually have you do have a pretty decent shot from over there. That'll be a pretty popular landing area, and that's still a long ways from the hole. You can see with the power 3 ball where I'm at, so you can get over there. No more than 1 top spin. Four, 2. See if I can get lined up with the wind. That'd probably be helpful. Now my ring is distorted there, so I'm going to just do a 4, 2. And then I'm going to put a little teeny bit of curl on it just to try and keep the end on the right. Now I did leave some room on the table as far as in front of me, but I am perfectly happy at the 325. It opened up the look to the cup so that I'm actually going a little straighter to the cup. It's put this sand trap more to the left. Now this is a great example. You can see where my opponent, where they're bouncing when they were on. They pulled it back to the top, and that wind's going to push them over the edge. And watch this first bounce. See how it went straight? That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. So you really want your ball to hit at the top, because the farther down you go on that fairway, the flatter your second bounce is going to be, and you could actually end up doing exactly what my opponent did, where you clip that rough. Maybe 3 rings of separation at the +8. 2.4. I'm just going to do the 2.4 to start off with. 2.4. Just try and hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. And see, number one, if that puts me long, it seems like the last couple times I was on this hole I was a little short, and that was a little longer than I like. And I didn't pull it enough, so I need to add maybe 10%. And try and leave my ball guide through the hole, but right at the cup. Seems like the last time we played this, I left a couple shots that were right on track, a little short on this hole. And you can see how the green rolls uphill, so the ball is slowing down faster than the ball guide anticipates. Just a bit outside. Maybe just. Put the ball to win. Here we go. See if we can win a chest. Eagle. All right, so we played the first 3 holes. I think in every set we need to pick one up. And the par 4s are our best opportunities. We do have great opportunities on these par 5s. But we do have serious opportunities on all the par 4s. So coming out of the first 3 with a 5, I want to play each 3-round set and pick up at least one of those holes. So hole number 4. Hole number 4. We should be thinking 15 is our minimum score. 12 is the minimum, but there are opportunities that we really need to take advantage of here. All right. This hole, there is a great look at hole-in-one if you bounce from over here, where you're bouncing from here and you're bringing it around, second bounce here. And what I find when I'm watching people set this shot up, and I see this a lot on a lot of shots, is people are so focused on their first bounce and making sure like they get their first bounce where they're not paying attention to their second bounce. And in this situation, it's very easy to get your second bounce. So like you give yourself a little bit of, in order to get this on track, you're going to have to ride close to this. And if the wind is blowing from this direction where you have to pull over the edge, your rings are going to get distorted. So it becomes you can have some problems here if the wind's blowing anywhere where you have to pull over in this direction. But really be cognizant of where your second bounce is, because if you overpull or underpull in these situations, your second bounce can end up clipping the rough. And I see this happen all the time to people where the first bounce hit and then the second bounce clipped the rough. And they ended up lucky and bled out onto the fringe, or they ended up unlucky and ended up staying in that rough. There is a shot that you can do from this island as well, where you can hit from here and then bringing it back around to the cup. I kind of like the look on this one a little bit better because the distance from the first bounce to the second bounce and where your second bounce engages here, you do have a little bit more room. But the one that I see people do the most is this shot right here. And I have seen people hit a hole-in-one from over here. I very seldom ever hit hole-in-ones on this hole because I'm trying to come at it from this side. Now, I will grant you that if you're coming over here, your look at the cup, you're going to have to use curl in order to bring the ball back around to get it towards the cup. And it's a low percentage shot as far as getting a hole-in-one. But you took all this water out of play, took all this rough out of play. The sand is really out of play. The only thing that's in play is the green. Like if you take the shot from over here and you do max backspin, max curl, max side spin, and you don't end up on the green, wow, like what happened? Like this is a guaranteed birdie. And this is one of those holes that, I don't know. I'm gonna take a look at the shot from over here, and maybe even the shot from over here, and take a look at them. But typically, this is one of those holes that I don't get a lot of hole-in-ones on because I usually play it safe and I start off on the green side. I'm close. And I have hit hole-in-ones here, but it's an exception rather than the rule. Now I'm going to bring, because of the zone that I'm in down there, if I bounce it over, I can use my Grizzly. If I don't bounce it over, I'm going to use my Saturn. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, that bag right there. What bag do I got? I bought ball. Let's take a Quasar. Quasar. Let's make sure we got. And I may have to bring a katana. Side spin may be an issue here. We'll start off. I'll start off with my Grizzly and see what it looks like from the other side. And if I don't like any of those shots, I'll switch to the bag I'm in right now and I'll just backspin it onto the cup. This is a hole I do. You can get up there and you can do a dunk with a Guardian. And I think this may be a Guardian hole as far as getting over to the other side, depending on ball. Yeah, we're there in Guardian. You can do a dunk. There's not enough of a backboard here to really suck it back to the hole, but I'll be curious to see how my opponent's works out, because I think the last time we played this tournament, I tried to do exactly what my opponent's doing. I tried to go right in front of the cup and use the backboard to spin it back, and there wasn't enough spin in that area. In order to get closer to the cup, I had to get closer to the rough in the front of the green. Let's switch to my number 1 bag. Let's see if I can give myself several rings of maneuver. I'm gonna do a 20% adjustment. So that's 4, 2, that'd be 8, that'd be 5. So it's 5 rings. 5 rings and a little, but I'm just gonna move the 5. And I hit it great to the left. You can see where that bounce was down there, and the wind, I hit it great to the left, and it's a good thing I did, because it pushed me off. Even with the 20%, it pushed me off. And how close that second bounce was down there to the rough. Anytime you get on these par 3s and you have to do a bunch of maneuvering with your ball, every little bit of maneuver lowers your chances. Like the holes that we always have that are like the most hole-in-oneable, or the ones that we have the most success on, are the ones that you do the half a backspin or half a right-hand side spin, and it's just a little teeny bit of movement. And then it all boils down to perfect. I like the fact that I could leave myself 2, 3 rings of separation on the first shot. That second bounce is the one that's problematic. I'm still undecided on how I'm going to play that hole. I'm going to mess around on that hole, but if I don't, I'm going to mess around until I get to the weekend round, and if I haven't figured out something in the weekend round, I'm going to just go out and get my birdie and move on to the next hole. I'd rather give up this hole and just get my birdie and move on than the other shots that we're trying to pick up are super important to hang on to. You don't want to lose it on one of these par 3s. All right, once again, the thing about this particular course is it has lots of room for spectators. Like all this shit out here is all for spectators. Maybe from the higher tees they may head out there to do it. And I've seen people hit from out here trying to get out into this zone and then try and bring it around, and it's the second shot blows. You don't have any real, basically your best shot is to go up on this side, and if we're up here and here's our red line with a sniper putting on a bunch of topspin, you're outside of that zone from over here. So I'm not sure. This is all for spectators, and we just don't hit out there. If you have lower developed stuff, this is a great. So what you'll find as you develop your clubs is that when you first start and you start getting your clubs up, your quarterback becomes your accurate club. And occasionally, the rock, the features of the rock will be more beneficial on a whole, but your primary accurate club is going to be your quarterback. As you get your rock developed, especially when you get it maxed out, your rock will become your accurate club, and occasionally your quarterback will work. This is one of those holes where the rock, if you've got lower developed stuff, your rock is better. It has a little teeny bit more raw distance. And what we want is we want to try and do this without any overpower, so that we're getting bounce number 1, bounce number 2, and the rock's extra distance will get the second bounce so that it's in the clear. And with the quarterback, what can happen is your second bounce is right on the lip. And so you either may have to put on a little bit more overpower, or you may have to do some more maneuvering. But the rock, when I had mid-level developed clubs, my rock was always the club to pull out on this. I'll have to figure out the top spin to get all the way to the top. I can't remember. We'll have to work on that one. And then it's a straight in shot to the cup, and it should be a minus number because it is uphill. So I'm going to take my number 2 bag. Number 2, and a Titan. Titan, the king of balls. That's right. Here we go. Hole number 5. See if we can just pop it out there. I can't. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of topspin. It seems like it's less than 3. When you get your rock, the rock is definitely, we think about the APOC and the Thor's hammer, and there's a lot of really good drivers out there as they get up in level, but the rock, when it gets maxed out and gets all of its distance, it gets the rest of its curl at 232. It's a little less hitting than the extra mile and the APOC, but it's, for a 100% accurate club, it's a pretty decent club. Now, bringing out a big ball is not important on the drive, but on the second shot, the bigger the ball you bring, the better chance you're going to have. And I mean, that's no guarantee. It's not like if you bring out a marlin, you can't make it, but you're giving yourself a much better second shot look if you've got a bigger ball. And they couldn't have got any more. Well, they could have got a little more, but that's pretty much it. I'm going to pull back to the +5. 3 rings off. 1 backspin. 4, 5. Put some curl to bring it back to the fairway. And see if I overhit it. One backspin. I knew there wasn't much spin on that. I'm not going to get any closer. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to take a little wind off. And this is a shot that's super easy to blow past the hole because there's a spot up there where we can hit that glitch where it slides. And so speed coming up to the cup. See if my opponent can get it. Hitting it perfect. Getting a hole. It drifted off right at the very end. They were on track right to that point. So I'm going to do a 2-7. 2.7 rings. There's 2.7. Hitting it perfect. Getting a hole. It's going to be fast. Got to work on my speed because there's a break at the end. You saw my opponent's ball break at the end. So as you start to lose speed going to the cup, if you have your speed just right so that you end up at the cup, right at the very end, it's going to drift off to the right. And so once you get your speed right so that you're ending up at the cup, then you've got to start accounting for that drift. In the hole. All right, all right. What's funny on these par fives is I put myself in the right spot all the time on these par fives to pick up the Albie. But they're tough holes to Albie. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? Hole number 6. All right, this is the par 4 right here that we need to get, and we've got to be able to get over into this zone so that we can go straight forward. And I'm not sure what kind of ball it's going to take to get into that zone. Now you can bounce over and then do bounce number 1, bounce number 2, and move forward, but you're either out in here or you're on the side. We really want to. We can get on the green if we bring out the right stuff. So let's see which way the wind's blowing. We got dead ass headwind, so I'm not even sure where the power. We've got to be able to make it with a power 5 ball. We gotta. And it's either going to be bag number 1 or bag number 2. I may need the extra rod distance of the Apocalypse, but I may need the extra topspin on the big dogs, or the extra mile, so I'm not sure. We'll see. Let's go get the eagle. We got to figure out, this is another hole. We've got to figure out what's the best opportunity for us to get eagle. All 3 of these par 4s we need to eagle. The other one really is ball dependent, because if we've got a tailwind, you can go out there with a 3 power ball. If you've got a headwind, you're going to have to bring out a 5 power ball. There's other ways to try and get the eagle on that hole, but the easy way, and it's close. All right, 5-1. I'm going to just do a 6 pull. And it's going to clip on the second hit on that island and maybe get caught up in it. I could have hit it 1 ring right to the left and it would have made it through, but not a 2 ring. And I don't like where I came in on that hole. What I'm going to do that's different is I think I need to start off as much as I can to the left. I like how my opponents, they must have put more topspin on than I did. They're in the sand. So we definitely need to pick up. And this is not where we want to be. Okay, there's max. There's mid. I'm in that quarter range. So it's 8 per ring. There's 4 miles an hour. Just need to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. Come on. Come on. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Jeez, had to recover on that one. That works. Get in the hole. See if my opponent can recover as well. Then I gotta call that person back. Maybe. All right, sorry about that. Had to take that call. Had to stop it. All right, here we go. What are we on? Hole number 7. Hole number 7. Big recovery shot right there. Big. So I came out of the first 3 having picked up 1. Came out of the second 3 having picked up 1. So that is our goal. Hole number 7. Now this hole and one of these holes, I don't think they have the right pitcher. Yeah, they got that. No, I guess it is the right hole. So we got 2 different ways. This is the same exact shit as the other one, where your first bounce here is super close to the edge. If we've got any wind moving in this direction where we've got to involve this rough or sand, it could end up in a distortion situation. Over here, we're fine if the wind's blowing this way, but if the wind's blowing from this direction, now we're involving the sand. This is another one of those holes I typically start off in this area and try and bring it around with max backspin, side spin, curl. I very seldom ever make hole-in-one here, but I almost always get birdie. Always. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go out there and play. I think I have a bag that's got a... You can do this with a sniper, but it works better with a Guardian. I got a Guardian. I'm going to take that back. But I'm going to check out the shots with my Grizzly from the other side and see what it looks like. And I think if I go over to the other side with the Guardian, that I think I need a Katana. It's been a long time since I don't like this par 3 or that other one. These aren't my... None of these par 3s in this course, other than hole number 1. I have hit quite a few hole-in-ones on it, but every one of them seems to be I'm in a different spot. I reinvent the wheel every time I get on hole number, the first par 3. We'll see which way my opponent's going at it. They're at max Grizzly. And they should be hitting at 0.9 per ring. And they are downhill, so let's see if they're adding anything on. Let's see what kind of move they make. He did 3 rings. So 2.6 divided by 0.9, and they didn't pull it enough. Let me switch to my number 1 bag. Let me switch to a Quasar. Let's see if I can get any movement towards the cup. I'm going to need a 3 side spin ball. Four, 3. I'm going to move it 5 rings. I don't have time to do the math. I'm running out of time. Dicking around. Hitting it perfect. As far off as I was on that, so it was 4.3. I was thinking about adding 20%, so 4.3 times 1.2 equals 5.16 divided by 0.9. I should have moved it 573. But even the 7.3 that was on there, I'm not sure that would have made up for how far off I was. Didn't it seem like it was in slow motion between the first bounce and the second bounce? Like it was making you wonder whether or not your second bounce was right. I do like the assurity of hitting from the other side, knowing that no matter what, I'm going to end up close, but I'm going to end up getting a birdie. Maybe. I'm gonna play around on those holes, but like if I'm having any problems or if anything happens or if I can't get the wind stuff worked out, I'm just gonna hit over to the other side. I really don't like these par 3s and Nordic fjords, but I do like these par 4s. So here's the deal. Okay, this fairway and this fairway are all for spectators. So we have two choices here. We can start off on this side and do a bounce over straight to the cup, and it takes very little spin if you can start off over here. Now, ideally, you'd want to come out at, I don't know if we can do this without, like if you bring out a power 5 ball and you have tailwind, you might be able to do this without overpower, but if we have headwind, the only way you're going to get over here is with a power 5 ball. The other way you can do it, and you can achieve the same result, it's just, it's definitely trickier, is you can start off from here. You get one bounce, and either two bounces where you're in front or the second bounce where you're on the other side, and then you're running it forward. And this is all about bounces from here, and you don't have to bring out any special balls. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. I will tell you that if you get on a tailwind here, you can get over to the other side, but if you don't have a tailwind, you'll have to do OP to get to the other side, and it's, you know, I think if there's tailwind, where we can really get a movement here, where we don't have to do any overpower in this spot, I really like coming over to the other side. But if we have a headwind here, we may have difficulty getting to this other side, because it's one of those deals where headwind really kills it, and tailwind really helps it. And so if we have a really good headwind of practicing the shot from here where we get bounce number 1, bounce number 2, or bounce number 2 on the other side and then running it forward. This one's a little bit trickier to set up because you're going to have to work on your top spin. But, like I said, you can do this shot no matter what the wind is. And you don't have to bring out a power 5 ball if we've got headwind. But today with tailwind, let's just go out there and check it out. I'm going to take my APOC. I'm gonna have both of these bags ready. I'm going to take my extra mile because that has better ball guide. But if I can't get over there with my extra mile, then I'll have to bring out my APOC. And I'm pretty sure that if I don't want to do any overpower with this, I'm going to have to bring out a power 5 ball. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the deal. But we'll see. If I need to, I'll up it. I'll up it. And we have we've got a lot of room out here if we can stay on trajectory. If I can get an opponent. If. Here we go. Getting out on the course. Can't get an opponent. But of course. Hey, it's Golf Clash. Jack. Thanks for joining the channel. Now let's see if I can kick your ass. Here we go. And you can see with max OP where I'm at. So if I bring out a power 5 ball here, I can do this without any overpower, but if we've got any kind of headwind, we'll have to use overpower. Three, four. It's a little over a ring and a half. And I'm going to lean just a little to the left. Hitting it perfect. Now it's all about speed, and I think that one topspin might not have been, or one backspin. No. If I'd have hit the green, I'd have got a little bit more distance, and I put a little too much curl on it. This hole is so wind dependent, because like in that spot right there, it's super easy if you've got any kind of wind that's on this side of the line. I mean, any kind of positive moving wind, even pure side wind, getting over to that spot, you don't have to do any OP, or you don't have to do anything special, no hero moves, no nothing. But if you've got any kind of headwind, you're going to have to fight against it and do an OP shot. And you know for damn good and well that on the weekend round, they're going to give us, regardless of what they give us in the other rounds, we're not going to get favorable wind every time we get on this hole. My opponent will be fine from right there. Just fine. Run out my top spin. From this distance, wind should not be a factor. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. All right. I struggled a little on the mid par 4 and I had to recover, but all three of these par 4s are super big opportunities for us. And I'm going to work really hard this week on these par 3s. And I know damn good and well that the shot to go for hole-in-one is super dangerous, because I'm not a big fan in regular golf or in Golf Clash of putting traps into play. The whole idea is to take traps out of play. Usually when I play four-man scrambles, my deal is everybody else is out there trying to kill it, and I'm just out there playing golf, so I'm just out there trying to hit like I normally would, and I normally try and eliminate traps. So you got the green, you got sand all over on the left-hand side, then let's end up on the right-hand side of the fairway so that we can try and avoid those traps coming in. And it's the same thing in Golf Clash, and I don't like having to hit, when I can help it, I don't like having to hit over water or sand and rough and all of the above. All right, hole number 9. Let's see what we got for hole number 9. Hole number 9. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we do have an Albie shot here, but this is there's a bunch of different ways that we can come at this. Once again, all of this shit over here is for spectators. Like all of this stuff. They're even out on this island out here. I have seen people try and hit out into this area, and I'm almost convinced that, like, if you do the arc, so if you got out here to the tip, and typically we're going to be somewhere out here in the middle. So if we do arc from here, and then we draw an arc across, you know, we're farther away on this side if we're out in this area. But coming into it, there might be, your closest rough is right here. There might be a rough bump that you could do from there if you brought out a wood that had enough topspin. Maybe. But I don't see a lot of redeeming factors from over here. A lot of times when I see people hit over to this side, they have to bounce off of this island and then come over, and they're basically just trying to get up there so they can recover. Out here, if you don't bring at least a 3-power ball, and if we've got a big headwind here, even a 3-power ball this second shot is tough. And you do want to get as far out here as you can. And of course, like a lot of these holes, our red line when we start off is going to be somewhere in this zone, depending on how big of a ball we bring. And so we're hitting through this narrow neck. So if we're off trajectory, our first bounce is fine. But where we can get into trouble is on that second and third bounce. So we definitely need to hit this drive perfecto. I'm going to bring a Titan and the king of balls and my number one bag. And I will tell you that you might be, in most cases, if you've got lower developed stuff, and depending on where you're hitting at up there, you're probably better off on this hole to bring. And let me set up a bag for that, because it doesn't appear that I need a bag for the big topper. It may be wise to bring out a Cataclysm or a Big Dog, because if you hit a little short, you're going to want that extra distance. If you have an upper developed hammerhead where it's got more distance than like if you got a level 6 hammerhead where it's got that 5 extra distance on your sniper, or 3 extra distance, that's huge. You could use a Horizon. That's a big hitting club, lots of topspin, lots of ball guide. Not super accurate, but it's got a lot of stuff. A Horizon will work really well here. Now I'm going to bring the Horizon. Accuracy-wise, it hits the same as my Extra Mile. All right. We'll go out there and play it. Hole number 9. Now this drive, this is definitely one shot at a time. You got to focus really hard. The second shot, you can just try and recover depending on where you're at up there and just get on the green. Lay up right off the green and chip it up there and get it in. But the drive here will kill you if you're not in the fairway. All right, I'm going to take the wind out because I don't want to get in the habit of using it. And I'm going to rub up against the nubs. And I hit it 75 rings great to the right, so that'll put me in the rough. Maybe. I might get lucky in that second bounce, just missed it. Excellent. Excellent. 397. Should have a pretty good look at it from there. There's a spot down here when we're doing our second shot that if we can get, see if my opponent moves it up so we can see it. You can't see it, it's underneath of the 3 stars. There's a spot up there where the rough runs this direction and then it turns to the right. If you can get in front of that, you can get a really good run at the cup. But if you have to stay to the left of it, you got to use side spin in order to bring you back around to the cup. Nice distance. Nice. Let's see what they got. 397, same as me. We're at the same spot. Yeah, if you can get in front of this, then you got a pretty good look at it. And with distance there, I could have brought a sniper. Let's see if I can run my topspin out. I might be able to run my topspin out and do a rough bump if I brought my sniper. He has a little bit better ball guide. It's 1.7 per ring. So there's 3, 4. That leaves me 7. That's about a half. Hitting it perfect. Almost in the hole. Just a little too much speed. Thought it was going to go in there for a second. Pretty nice. That range will work. But from where I was at right there, I might have been able to bring a sniper. So I think the whole deal is if you can get about 400 on the drive, you could probably bring a sniper and be in front of that and have a little bit better ball guide, a little bit more accuracy. But if you start getting short of that, where you're in the 390 range, I think the deal is you'll have to start off on the left-hand side of that. And it'll take a lot more side spin to bring it back around to the cup. Close. Just a bit in and out of the hole. So a nice easy round, picking up the par fours, nothing else. Really need to work on the approach shots. So my goal, my homework assignment for the week is the approach shots for the par fives. I can put myself in the right spot to really go for the shot to the cup, and really need to work on the second shot to get that second shot dialed in. And I am going to play around on those last two par threes to see what I can do to increase my odds. And if I don't like it, I'm just going to drive the green. So my opponent's got minus 15 all the way around. They got the same looks. All right, there you go. Just picking up all the par fours and shooting just a standard round. Got a little lucky on the mid par four and was able to recover. But the rest of them, I think hole number one and the last par four, we're really going to have to just bring out the stuff in order to make sure we get those. All three of these par fours we really need to get. All right, there you go. That's a walkthrough, qualifying, scouting report, the whole bit for the Winter Major. I will play my odd account tomorrow, and I'll post the video from that. We'll go back out there. I'll watch this video so that I can get some notes as far as wind and like where I was putting it, and then I'll go back and shoot another round and see if I can make those numbers either happen again or work on them and get them better. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, and everybody stay safe.